Blue 58! Blue 58! Go!
Welcome, everybody, to the very first edition of First and 10. Let's do it again. This is the time that we're going to take once a month, hence the name First. The first day of each month, we're going to spend a 10-minute interview with some of the faces, some of the personalities, some of the people involved in sports chiropractic, either from a chiropractic standpoint, from a medical standpoint, from a player standpoint, or even a coach standpoint. And our very special first guest is going to be Dr. Kyle Prusso. We'll tell you a little bit about him in a minute, but just a couple housekeeping things. Let's first give a special shout out to the Professional Football Chiropractic Society. They're the people that are making this all possible. And my name is Dr. Alan Sokoloff, current president of the Professional Football Chiropractic Society, soon to be former president, but that's another story. So special thanks to them. And we're doing a lot of what we're doing here just as some educational background to get ready for the 2021, yes, March 5th and 6th in Indianapolis, Indiana, our sports science symposium with a special guest and a really great lineup. So all that information will come. However, I would like to welcome to the First and 10, Let's Do It Again, microphone, screen, and everything, all around great person. Just a couple of highlights on Dr. Prusso and Kyle. I hope you don't mind if I call you Kyle, because we go back.
Not at all.
As long as this goes back.
I've been called a lot worse than that in my day.
He's the current dean of clinics at Palmer West, and where he's been for a while, and has been since 2005 the team chiropractic consultant to your Oakland Raiders, who are now no longer in Oakland. So Dr. Prusso, or Kyle, welcome to First and 10, Let's Do It Again.
Thanks for having me, Alan. It's great to be here. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too. That's the one thing about Zoom, is we kind of get to see each other. All right, so the rules are, I'm going to give you get 4 downs, 4 questions. If we have time to get into any others, we're going to do that too. The clock's kind of off on this first edition, kind of get you and the audience warmed up to what we're trying to do. We're trying to do something that's not a 10-hour symposium on some of the simple things. So let's get started, and we are not going to make this easy. I want you to go back into your memory banks, and I want you to tell me your greatest non-football Raider moment. One of the greatest moments you've had as a team chiropractor, not related to football, involving the Oakland Raiders, where you've been for, gosh, I remember when you first started.
Yeah, so yeah, I finished my 15th and last season last year. Of course, they've now moved to Las Vegas, and they have a new chiropractic consultant, and I'm super happy for that doctor, and excited to see what the Raiders do in Las Vegas. So my favorite non-football related story. So this is an easy one. And so let me go back in time a little bit. When I was 8 years old, I went to my very first NFL game, and it happened to be an Oakland Raiders game. It was before they moved to Los Angeles. So it was 82 or 83. It was a Monday night football game. It was the Raiders versus the Steelers. Jim Plunkett was the quarterback for the Raiders. Terry Bradshaw was the quarterback for the Steelers. And we sat, club level right about the 30 or 40 yard line. I mean, I can picture this like it was yesterday. My grandparents were actually charter season ticket holders of the original Oakland Raider franchise back in 1960. So my grandmother at the time was in, local politics and knew some people. So we ended up at these great seats at this Monday night football game. And I'll never forget that, my first NFL game. So flash forward to, many years later, this would have been, now I'm forgetting things. It was the weekend that Al Davis, the owner of the Raiders, passed away. We were at a game in Houston. We were in Houston for a game. It was a Saturday morning. We'd flown in Friday night, and Saturday morning, one of our team physician and I got up. We went to do a workout together. As we were coming back just started blowing up with text messages, and the news of Al Davis's passing had broke. So he passed in the night, Friday night. So Saturday night, we often go out to dinner. And so Saturday night, I'm at dinner with a couple of our team doctors. And at dinner that night was Jim Plunkett and Tom Flores, Tom Flores was the coach for that first game that I went to. So here I am, many years later, sitting at dinner on the night that Al Davis had passed away with Tom Flores, who I grew up, fans of and kind of idolizing. Well, now here I am sitting having dinner with them, and I'm listening to these guys tell stories of the old days and of Al Davis, and listening to them talk about how much he meant to them, and great stories. And I remember just sitting back, kind of taking it all in and thinking, how the hell did I get here? Like, what am I doing here? It was an incredible night. I'll never forget it.
Awesome. Great job. That's first down. Let's go to second down. You've had the chance to work on a lot of players in your tenure with the Raiders. Being HIPAA compliant, give me one story about one player that really stood out. And you don't have to give his name or number, but you could be general about position. What's that one go-to story that you physically feel like? Sports medicine teams, we all make a difference, but every once in a while you get your hands on that one guy, and that's the one that makes a difference to you. What's that story? Second down.
Yeah, there's probably a few of those, but I think the one that jumps into my head right away, and I won't use his name, but he'll be in the Hall of Fame here in a year or two, first ballot for certain. And I remember watching this guy. It was the last game of our season. I think his second to last year playing, but it was the last game of the season. We were in Denver. We were completely out of the running for anything, as was usually the case with our team, come last game of the season. And I remember sitting on my table, and I'm watching this guy in the locker room go through his pregame motions, right? His like pregame preparedness. And I'm thinking in my head, this guy's been in the league for, probably at that point, close to 20 years. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And he was doing everything before that game as though it was the first game of the season. And it struck me like how dedicated he was to his craft and to the team and to his position and to himself, really, knowing that if he does these things, he's going to go out and be successful on the field. And it struck me. And I remember asking him about that later as I was treating him. And we had a really cool conversation about it. The thing that jumped out at me was, I asked him throughout his career, because he'd been with us and gone to other teams and come back. And I remember asking him, like, how chiropractic fit into his routine. And he said, to be honest, you're only the second person I've ever let treat me.
Wow.
And so that was a big deal to me. I was very honored to hear that. And yeah, I can't wait for him to go into the Hall of Fame.
All right, here we go. Third down. Give me, you've had a great run with the Raiders, since 2005. So something had to work right. What I need for you, give me your top 3 things that have helped you have the run that you had, and maybe could be great takeaways for either some of your students or other doctors out there or any healthcare providers working in a sports medicine industry.
Great question, and I think I've got answers for you. So I think the first thing is you have to have a team around you where everybody knows their role and everybody's willing to work within their role. And I was fortunate to have an head athletic trainer for my whole career there. He recently retired, but for my whole career, I had an athletic trainer who was really fantastic at allowing everybody on his sports medicine team to excel at what they did. And he was kind of the master at the logistics of how it all worked. And so we had a really cohesive team. We all knew our role. We worked really well together. If there were things that I saw that I didn't agree with or may have thought a different way, like if it was within my role to speak up and ask about it or talk about it, I was empowered to do that. And at the same time, I knew that I could have trust in the other members of the team to do what they needed to do. So I think that would be the first thing is being part of a team where everybody was confident in their role and could trust the other members of the team. So I think that's the first thing.
Number two.
I think the second thing is communication, right? The ability to really clearly and honestly communicate with one another at all times, not just when you're at the facility, but at all times, at any time they need you to be able to communicate with them and do that, clearly, articulate. You kind of learn the language of sports medicine. You learn the language that the doctors use or the trainers, and it might be different. So you've got to learn how to communicate with all of those people. And I think the third thing, and this is the reason I've got that picture up behind me, is the word commitment up on the wall. I think you've got to be committed. If they're going to be able to count on you, you've got to be committed to this. And there were, plenty of times in my 15 years where I woke up thinking I was going to do one thing that day. I'd get a call from our head trainer, and I ended up doing something else that day because they needed me. And so there is a level of commitment. That commitment doesn't just come from you. It also comes from your family, right? Because, we played in London 3 times. We played in Mexico City twice. And so, the family also sacrifices. I think everybody has to be committed to the mission, vision, and values that the team requires.
Great answer. Great answer. Totally agree. So here we are, 4th down. We're in a little overtime, but that's okay. This is show number 1. All right. So
we always punt on 4th down.
Welcome to the AFC. All right. Yeah. So here's the last question. What is the wildest, craziest thing you've done during this pandemic? I mean, we are all life has changed. I call it the next norm because the next day there's something new. And even now in the NFL, things have changed so much. But NFL aside, what's the wildest, craziest, most fun thing you've done during this pandemic to help maintain your sanity?
Well, thank goodness I have a motorcycle.
All right.
So, yeah, honestly, the pandemic has brought a new level of a new level of stress and things that need to be done at the college. And so I haven't had a lot of free time. We've had to move all of our academics online. We had to close our clinic for a while and figure out how we're going to reopen the clinic in a pandemic. So quite frankly, since March 17th, when California first went on shelter in place, this has probably been the busiest 4 or 5 months of my career. It's been extremely busy. And so, yeah, I try and get a little bit of helmet time any time that I can. And when we're done with this conversation, I'm going to put my helmet on and ride my motorcycle to work and maybe take a few back roads and helmet therapy, we call it. But that's probably the craziest thing. Yeah.
Nice. Well, it's great that you're in a state where you have to wear a helmet, or do you? I don't even know, but I'm glad you're putting a helmet on. I'm glad you're being safe.
Would never ride without one.
There you go. You are a past 2-time president of the Professional Football Chiropractic Society, and which you've completed a little while ago. I will soon be in your shoes. This is the overtime question. And
All right.
so what do I have to look forward to as past president after 2021 March in Indianapolis, Indiana?
Well, as you know, when you sit on that board and you attend our annual symposiums, you don't really get to participate or enjoy it much because, there's behind the scenes, there's still a lot of logistics going on, and you're being called up onto the to the front to announce speakers or make announcements or give stuff away, and so you're very busy during that weekend. So I think the greatest thing, Alan, is that you'll get to go to the PFC symposium and kind of enjoy it. You'll get to enjoy the speakers and the classes and enjoy kind of get back into that mode of hanging with the other NFL guys, and things just calm down a bit. So yeah, I think you'll enjoy your retirement, so to speak.
And we know we never retire. Well, Kyle, I cannot thank you enough. And on behalf of the Professional Football Chiropractic Society, thank you for everything you've done for us. Thank you for what you've done in the NFL, for the things that you've done at the college level, and the major accomplishments that you've made at the family level, because I know how important all that is to you. So I'm hoping you're going to be able to make it, because just a reminder to everybody else, March 5th and 6th in Indianapolis, Indiana. If you go to profootballchiros.com or look up the Professional Football Chiropractic Society on Facebook, you'll be able to read more about it. Last year's symposium sold out. But guess what? This year, we're expanding things, hopefully. And we are proceeding. Kyle, I don't even know if you know, we have a guest speaker who's going to be presenting in addition to a rock star lineup. Former NFL player Brandon Marshall is going to be joining us to chat about a couple topics that are affecting all of us now. We talked a little bit about some of the mental aspects going on, but Brandon Marshall is going to be joining us, as well as a complete lineup that's going to be released. So if you are interested, keep your eye out on Facebook as well as on the website for when registration opens, because it will go quickly. So that's the end of First and 10. You know what? Let's do it again. We'll see you back again next month right here. And again, thank you, Professional Football Chiropractic Society, for making this all happen. This is Dr. Sock, and I am out.